I'm Leo Walter for Kit Guru, and this laptop is the ASUS Republic of Gamers, or ROG G701VI. I double checked with ASUS about the model code. The suffix is indeed VI and not, as I first thought, V1 like Roman numeral 6. And the reason I wondered is because it has a Skylake processor. Here we are in Kaby Lake days, and yet it's Skylake. I don't have the least problem with the Skylake processor. Kaby Lake, Skylake performance is basically identical, but the fact of the matter is it is still Skylake. The graphics chip is GTX 1080, which is the mightiest graphics chip on the planet until we get a TI or some such comes along in the nearish future, I imagine. But the panel, the display, that's new. It is 17.3 inch and it's full HD, but it's 120Hz and G-Sync combined in the same panel. If you look at a manufacturer such as MSI, where they have 2 or 3 different panels in the same laptop chassis, you will find either high frequency or G-Sync. You do not find the two together. This, as far as I'm aware, is the very first time that these two features have been available in the same panel in a laptop, and hurrah for that. But the thing is, I continue to be confused by this laptop. I've come at this a number of different ways and I still am not certain what to think about it. And the reason is 2 or 3-fold. The first is a laptop. It should be portable, obviously. This is clearly portable, but it weighs 3.8 kilos. And if I reach for the power brick here, it's the standard ASUS 330 watt power supply. We've seen the GX700, GX800, and I think 1 or 2 others. It has a mechanical lock into the back of the chassis. In technical terms, it's superb. If you have a GTX 1070, you'll get a 230 watt power supply, GTX 1080, 330 watt power supply. You do need that sort of level of juice, but it means you've got at least 1 kilo of power brick. So the laptop and the power brick together, 5 kilos. Is that a laptop? Well, yeah. Is it portable? Well, I'd say no. But if you live in an apartment and you want to be able to put your thing in it, well, your laptop in a cupboard rather than have a desktop PC, fine and dandy, no problem whatsoever. If you're thinking of taking this on a flight, well, good luck, I say. Not that it will fit on a flight table anyway. But as a laptop, it's very big, it's heavy, the power supply is enormous. The power, by the by, it idles in this state at 40 watts when you're in 3D Mark or a game 265 watts, say you're 20% or so inside the limit of the 330 power supply. That's all absolutely fine. The other thing is noise. It's quite a noisy laptop. Now the thing is, ASUS has put a lot of emphasis on the svelteness of the chassis. So they say, depending on which bit of the spec you believe, actually 33 to 35mm in thickness, but they also say elsewhere remarkably slender at just 32.5mm thin. So 32.5, 33, 35, quite thin for a big laptop. And the question with that is, do you particularly need your laptop to be thin? Well, it looks nice, that's for sure, but we've already established it's big and it's heavy, so the fact it's thin, well, it looks quite stylish. We have incidentally seen this styling on a number of ASUS ROG laptops, this sort of titanium copper hydro sort of thing going on. Very nice it is too. So let me just start Tomb Raider running, Rise of the Tomb Raider specifically. And that's the benchmark loading up in Rise of the Tomb Raider at high image quality settings at, as I say, full HD, as that's the limitation of the panel. And I bring in the Kit Guru microphone, which I'm holding 1/2 meter or so behind the laptop, which is actually further away from the laptop than my ears, which is less than 1/2 meter. Now the thing is, the airflow, it comes in the center at the bottom through the ventilations and it goes out through the 2 coolers at the rear. Many coolers like this, where you've got a pair of coolers linked by heat pipes to the CPU, GPU, the air goes into kind of much closer to the rear. Here it's pretty much in this area here, as you can see in the photos and the B-roll. And now the noise is definitely getting audible. And now it's getting what I would term personally noisy. And it's going to continue getting slightly noisier. Doing a synthetic test, it's louder still. But I have to say the fan curve is quite immaculate. It's absolutely stepless. It just ramps up steadily. So while it's quite loud, it is not actually massively annoying in terms of not going blah, blah, blah. It's just quite loud. And then it maintains this noise level from here on in. Which begs the question, does it matter if a laptop is noisy? And personally, I feel yes, it does. Shut that down. And we'll come out to that in a moment. Because the thing is, if you're living on your own and you don't care about the noise and you've got headphones on, that's absolutely fine. But as a wise man said, that's a little like saying, I'm not going to wash, I'm just going to use deodorant. It doesn't really get to the root of the problem. If you've got other people around you, they've all got earphones in as well, student household, something like that, might not be a problem. To me personally, it is a problem, and that's the prime reason why I'm not yet settled on what I think about this laptop. It's big and heavy, but that's not necessarily a problem if it's living in a cupboard and coming out, or you're going to LAN parties, in which case actually it's a lot more convenient than a PC. But if you want a thing to be portable, it's a problem. If you want it to be reasonably quiet, it's a problem. If on the other hand you're not too fussed about the weight and the noise isn't an issue, but you like the looks and the sveltness, that's all fine. The spec, two things arise. The ports and connectors are brilliant, no two ways about it. So if we rattle around, we've got one USB 3.1 Type-C, three USB 3.0s, one Thunderbolt, one mini DisplayPort, one HDMI, there's an SD card reader, there's no optical drive, you wouldn't expect that. Ports and connectors, top notch. The storage is two SSDs in RAID. So you've got a terabyte of storage available to you. There's no hard drive backing that up. I'm slightly surprised. It's such a large chassis. I'd have thought a hard drive would slip in without any problem. Another terabyte or two would be quite nice to have. Not the end of the world, just a thought. The memory is crackers. We've got 64 gigabytes, DDR4 2400 megahertz. You do not need 64 gigabytes in anything apart from a video editing workstation. 32 gig would be ample, 16 gig would probably be enough. The thing is, you're paying for that memory. The price in the UK is £3,100. If you're to cut down the memory, it's got to be less than £3,000. That would be welcome. It would look better on paper. So the amount of memory over the top, the storage slightly surprising, but they are mere questions and nothing more than that. The panel I love to bits. The combination of processor and graphics is superb. I'm not mad keen on the weight and the size, or the weight specifically, the portability and the size of the power brick. And the noise, for me personally, it's too much. But I'm well aware that I may be out of step with you on this one. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want more from Kit Guru, please do click to subscribe. I'm Leo Warder for Kit Guru. This is the ASUS ROG G701VI.